Hi, welcome to Keona Tech. In previous videos, we manually uploaded our jar to running EC2 instances. In this video, I want to give you a glimpse into continuous integration and continuous deployment on AWS platform. We want to automate the process of building and deploying our application to a running EC2 instance. So let's get started. So here we have our source code, and here we have a running EC2 instance powered by Elastic Beanstalk. We currently installed a sample code provided to us by AWS. You see that we have a sample code running. Now, instead of manually uploading our jar directly here, like we did in a previous video, which you might want to check out, we're going to set up a pipeline. We're going to check in our code into GitHub repository, and AWS pipeline is going to take charge of building our source code and creating a jar and then deploying that into our running EC2 instance. So first, let's go ahead and create a GitHub repository. So here, I'm going to call it product service. So I've created a GitHub repository called product service, and I'm just going to go ahead and check in my code to that repository. So what do I need to do? That I'm going to add all, and I'm going to commit. Okay, then lastly, I'm going to push to main branch. I'm going to refresh. And now we have the source code in GitHub. So now we're going to go to AWS and create a pipeline. So if you come here, CodePipeline, click on create pipeline. I'm going to call it product service. Pipeline type V2. Now I'm going to create a new service role and click on next. It's going to ask me to choose the source, right? So I want to get a code from GitHub. So I'm going to click on GitHub version 2 in this case. Version 1 is not recommended. So we're going to use version 2, and then we're going to create a connection, and I'm going to call it product service GitHub. Connect to GitHub. I'm going to grant the permissions here. Install a new app. Now I want to select specific repository, and that is the product service. Okay. Click on install. I need to provide a code here, authenticator. Okay, so now I'm going to click on connect. All right, so you see GitHub connection is ready to use. This is my repository. I'm going to click on that. And branch name is main. Now, what is the trigger here? So when I push into the branch, right? Whenever I make a change and I push to the branch, to the main branch, then it's going to trigger the pipeline. Click on the CodePipeline default, and then click on next. Now, provider is AWS CodeBuild. I need to create a build step, right? So we want to build our project. We're going to get the source code from the repository. We're going to build, right? So we need AWS CodeBuild, and then we're going to deploy to EC2. So we need AWS CodeDeploy. So we need to create a project here because we don't have that yet. So I'm going to click on that to create a CodeBuild project. I'm going to call it product service also, and then leave most of that as default. It's going to run on Amazon Linux, the runtime standard, and the image is this image is what I want. It contains what I need, and you can always go and check what the image is on GitHub. New service role and all of that. So now to build our project, we need a build spec file. So we're going to create one. We're going to create this YAML file right here. New create file, build spec.yaml. I'm going to dictate how my application is to be built. So this is what I want to happen. I'm going to install Java 17 on a container, and then I'm going to run Maven clean package. That's going to build my jar, and then this is going to be the output, and this is going to be the name of the artifact. I'm going to go ahead and commit that. Git add build spec, git commit, and then I'm going to push that. Okay, now let's go back to here. So we have that, and then let's create logs, call it product service build log, then continue. Okay, go back to the pipeline here. So now it sees that we have a project, right? So we are done with the build stage. I'm going to click on next. And then for the deploy, I'm going to use AWS Elastic Beanstalk, right? We want to deploy to this provider. And then we're going to provide the application name and the environment. Click on next. And then click on create pipeline. Okay, so now we've created our pipeline, and it's going to try to run. By the time this is done, we should not see this anymore. So let's wait for this to be done. So the build succeeded. We can see the details here. We can see the logs. Okay, so that succeeded. And now it's going through the deploy phase. Okay, so deploy also succeeded. So let's come back here. I'm going to refresh. Nice. And then let's try to hit the product's endpoint. Nice. So our code got deployed. So I'm going to go ahead and make a change. I'm going to add a product. I'm going to add a product here. Okay. I'm going to call it test YouTube demo. Okay. And then I'm going to check that in, right? So I'm just going to do git add, git commit, add test product, and then git push. Now, the moment we do a git push, it should trigger the pipeline. Let's go back here. Now you see there's a trigger, and then it's going to try to run and deploy our changes. So you see that succeeded, and now it's in the build stage. That's going to take a few seconds. And then when that is done, it's going to go through the deploy phase. Okay, so the build was successful, and now it's going through the deploy phase. Okay, so the deploy also succeeded. Now let's come back here. So I'm going to try to hit the product's endpoint again and see if there's a new product. Yep. So here's the new product we added. So we've been able to successfully create a pipeline to deploy our code. This is a much better way to deploy your code rather than manually uploading your jar to the running EC2 instance. So I hope you like this content. If you do, please go ahead and give it a like and comment. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you can get notified when I post new content. Thank you for watching.